going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 117 of the Offshore Gamescast. My name is Dave.
I'm Dylan.
And I'm Lile.
Dylan, you actually look like you're underwater, and Lyle, you look like you're on fire. I look like an angel, and you know what? Only Dylan is the correct one in this scenario.
Actually,
I mean,
be surprised
I can.
with fires in this game. That's
You
a
know
thing.
what?
Thank God.
Whoa, Lyle is now underwater. Dave.
I don't know how blue I can get. That's kind of
Whoa.
cool.
We're all underwater.
This is great for podcast listeners.
I'm underwater.
We're talking about Under the Waves today.
I did that once when I was 11.
Be under
What?
the waves?
Yeah, I almost drowned. I've been afraid
no.
of the ocean ever since. I've only gone in really knee deep since.
You're not
That
missing out
sounds
on much.
terrifying.
Yeah, I'm not missing out much. Well, that's what happens when you grow up next to a beach.
I like being on the beach, though.
I hate it.
How
Never
are you
grow
with
up on an
swimming
island.
pools?
Swimming pools. Oh my god, give me one. Give me one
I
right
hate
now.
swimming pools.
Now,
I
if you were to go to like a water park and like they have the big wave pool, I almost doxed myself and said like the location, but not like I live there anymore. And the world knows it. If you go to Splish Splash and like they have the wave pool there, and like that's fun. That's good. But you go to an ocean where it's unadulterated pure violence and like they have things in there with teeth. Like, nah, fuck that shit.
You know,
I grew up 10 minutes away from a lake that had alligator snapping turtles.
Ow.
And I got stung by a yellow jacket at that park. And like, that's not cool.
It's not. We don't have that kind of ocean here, though.
And that is
Or
the
lake.
reason I do not go under the waves.
if you are in a pool with other people, you're still in water with creatures that have teeth that can bite.
But the probability of it happening is very slim. I can
Depends
incite
on how many children there are.
I can incite it into happening, but the probability and the statistics are just not there. The chance of winning the lottery is higher than getting bit by somebody in a pool.
I definitely don't think that's true.
Like, but if you put it into the perspective of something that you have the ability to change the outcome and the odds of, general probability, you're not going to get bitten by somebody in a pool. But you can change that outcome and make it 100% happen.
There's
gonna
been
be
in a pool
consequences.
enough that I feel like I've probably been bitten in a pool.
You see, I haven't. And you know, that's something, you know, where are you going? Where are you going? Who are you with?
Well, I grew up with a pool, and I have 3 brothers, so
Like, I know what they've been up to, but I don't know anything about them biting.
I'm just saying that I don't have a specific memory, but it's probably happened.
Well, I don't think I've ever got bitten. Lyle, there's no possible way you've gotten bitten in a pool.
I don't. If I have, I don't remember.
Dave, what are we talking about next week?
Next week, we'll be popping in with some Assassin's Creed Mirage because apparently I can't get enough sand this year.
You've been very sand driven this year.
How many goddamn games filled with deserts and sand am I gonna have to play, or am I gonna be wanting to play? I swear to God, Spider-Man. You know what the first section of Spider-Man 2 is? You're fighting Sandman.
You could also just choose not to play these games then.
I don't think Destiny works that way.
Are you like Anakin Skywalker and you don't like sand?
No, I can't. What is it? I can't leave fucking Coruscant, the one planet that they always go to, the junk planet, whatever.
Tatooine?
They can't. Tatooine. They can never leave Tatooine. I can't leave the fucking desert planet. The fucking games. Can't. Sucks.
On that note, before we jump into the episode, if you are watching this on YouTube with our faces and some gameplay, or listening on any podcast app, we're on basically all of them, please subscribe, please leave a rating, please follow us, comment, all that stuff. That is what really helps support us, and we really appreciate it.
It would make Dylan very happy, even though he doesn't sound like it right now.
I would if every time I see a new subscriber or a comment, I squeal with joy like a little pig.
Do
Like a
it.
Dylan in a daytime game.
Yeah.
I wanna hear what that sounds like now.
So I'll be like, I'll be on my phone or something, right? I'll go, oh, YouTube Studio, new subscriber. It's like that.
It's a strain. He's really got to force it.
That's what you get when you subscribe, people.
I'll send you a personal message.
So thank you to
A
all
voice clip.
139 so far.
See, Dave does it too.
Amazing.
In fact, Dave and I will just call each other and do that back and forth.
At the end of the day, when we get off the podcast, we unzip and we're just rusty metal doors.
Yeah. We're not lizard people. We're rusty doors.
You
under our
what
skin,
now?
too.
You didn't tell me that before you invited me onto this podcast.
That's why we invited you. I thought you were also a rusty metal door.
No, I'm just a lizard person.
Luckily, you can't get tetanus over the videos.
I'm sorry, Dave. Dylan. Oh my God! I'm leaving.
Don't
I'm leaving.
you
I'm going.
ever call me Dave again?
It's better
I'm
than
sorry.
Dan. I get called Dan a lot.
Really?
Oh yeah. Hey Dan, sorry. Oh no,
Why?
I get called Dan sorry a lot.
All right, Under the Waves. This was developed by Parallel Studio, published by Quantic Dream.
Now, is this the Quantic Dream? Like,
Yep.
Like Star Wars Eclipse, like Heavy Rain Quantic Dream?
Yep.
Hot damn.
Came out on August 29th.
Thanks for your input,
2023.
Dylan.
Lyle had it covered. And it came out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And the general concept is that it's...
Water Watch.
Yeah, Water Watch. There you go. It's all underwater. The entire game takes place underwater. Very narrative driven.
Sounds like a criminal
Kind
investigation.
of from the
Water
beginning,
Watch.
from the announcement trailer of the game I first saw it kind of just gave me like, this is trying to be Firewatch but under the water.
I got Subnautica from it.
It's
just because underwater and thing and submarine. It didn't look survivally, but it just felt Subnautica.
No, it's not. It's not. It's just not Subnautica.
Well, yeah, it's Under the Waves, but it felt like Subnautica. Like when games have orgies.
No, no.
I remember that episode.
It's like Subnautica and Firewatch had a one night stand.
I don't
after going to
yeah,
Nobu.
there was no love between those two. That's very true.
Oh, so it was just like dirty pig sex. Dirty pig sex.
That's what this game is. I'm sorry. Go on, Dylan.
I don't know what's happening right now. All right. In Under the Waves, you play as Stan.
Scuba Stan.
Not to be confused with Scuba Steve. He is an experienced diver who has seemingly kind of been out of the game for a while, if you will.
Sounds like so hardcore. Like, man, I haven't got my fix in 20 years. I've been out the game. I'm a little rusty. I can't.
It kind of is like that in the beginning. Like,
if I get a taste of that water, I might just go back in. I might relapse. It's bad.
He's back to escape his problems, essentially.
Okay.
He was dealing with shit on the surface, so he was like, I'm gonna go isolate myself under the water.
That works.
Spend the game mostly talking over the radio with this guy, Tim.
Tim and Stan.
Tim and Stan.
The whitest names that there are.
Yes. He is your boss, but also someone who has a history with your father, who seems to be deceased, and kind of ties into Unitrench, which is the company you're working for, an oil company.
Ooh, oil spill. Foreshadow. Is this just another environmental game? Like,
Yep,
that is chunk of it.
Like, it's just like, it's how many more time loop games? How many more desert games? It's just like, just do one, have it make a statement. Stop being bitches and following trends. It's just don't release Skull and Bones. Like, it's not that hard.
You heard it here. One issue in the world, one game. That's it.
Especially the environment one, because that's not
Once a year.
important at all.
We get the message once a year.
All right. Well, he does have a lot of. He doesn't like Unitrench, really. It was more just an opportunity that he had to go underwater and escape his issues. But there is a lot of.
Wasn't the backstory with Tim also that they used to work for an environmental group? And then Tim switched over to Unitrench?
It was.
I think, right?
So it was kind of like hinted at a lot throughout the game, not directly said. From the vibe I got is that Tim and Stan's father kind of started something like that like under the water that was very like environmental friendly, and ended up having to. I don't know if they got bought out necessarily, but they kind of ended up having to work for Unitrench in a way, or there was something with that, and then something happened with Stan's father that was not clearly stated, but seemed to be bad. But Stan doesn't really like Unitrench, and Stan doesn't like the effect that Unitrench has on the environment, because believe it or not, an oil company that's all under the water is not doing so hot for the environment.
This'll come in handy.
You kind of have your home base, which is the only time you're ever gonna not be actually in water in this game. And I do like the little home base. You have this little, I don't want to call him an AI robot because it's not that smart. But you got Mercury, who's just kind of like a little digital face on a computer screen that will just say nonsense to you and end it with the fun fact of the day, which is just Unitrench propaganda.
I was hoping it was like a Snapple fact.
So like it kind of starts out that way, but then it just ends up being like, Unitrench is great at this and this and this.
By the way, did you know that cheetahs are the fastest land animals at 65 miles an hour? Have a good day.
Yeah, it's not that fun. It's never that fun.
It also repeats quite quickly.
Oh yeah, once you hit the fact of the day for like each day, that's it. All you're gonna get is that fact of the day on repeat.
Tell me another one. Okay, well, here's the same one.
Yeah. One thing I do like is that there are, and this kind of happens in your base a lot, but there are these scenes where you can like sit down somewhere like in your kitchen, or sometimes when you're talking to Tim over the radio. It does these cinematic scenes that you can like change the camera angle of as they're happening, as the discussion's happening, kind of like pan around a little bit. It was almost the only Life is Strange I played was True Colors, so that's my reference for this. But it does that in Life is Strange True Colors, and it reminded me of that a lot. And I liked that.
That's a good series of video games.
Do the other ones do that? The older ones?
Do what? I wasn't listening.
I don't think so. I don't remember.
They have like scenes where you can like change the camera angle as the scene is happening and like look around. It happened with music in True Colors, and, like, or just like checking out the environment.
Oh, yeah, in the first and second one, you'll have moments where you'll just kind of be like looking over, like in the first game, you're looking over like a cliff, and then you could just like pan around and just kind of be stuck in the moment until you decide to leave and just listen to music and just kind of be.
Okay, kind of like that.
Yeah, they were much more. True Colors definitely took it a step further. They were much more simplistic in the first two.
So let's get to the kind of the darker stuff. When Stan is sleeping at night,
he's sleeping with Tim.
No, you never see Tim.
No,
he's by himself under there.
Oh, what is he up to? Hope he's got some magazines.
Tim or Stan?
He both.
Tim's not by himself wherever he is.
Oh, lucky.
Stan is by himself.
But he's thinking of
Okay.
Tim.
So when Stan sleeps, he has nightmares that are he's reliving tragic things in his life, but under the water. So he'll be like, there was seemingly some sort of like accident, a car crash, but it will like the road and everything will be underwater, and you're walking on like the bottom of the ocean with like sea creatures and stuff all around.
Well, so
And
I get a random question.
yeah,
So in sections like that specifically, with how you mentioned that this is like a Firewatch like, how many parts of this game are like just straight up linear walking segments? Like just like walking simulator.
so those are, and then there are like definitely the story areas where you'll go into like a unitrench, like an old unitrench building,
Hmm.
and as you're navigating through that, that's pretty linear. Uh, Otherwise, we will get to it, but it is just kind of like a map chunk of water, and you can just you swim, and you're in your little sub, and you go around that whole area.
Okay.
So kind of these nightmares, a lot of an accident, and you do find out that your daughter Pearl had died, and there was a lot of issues with you and your wife Emma, who you do occasionally call through the underwater phone computer thing you got going on there. That usually has some sort of connection issue, or they're just fighting. That
Like the
happens a
Martian
lot.
style, like he's secluded and alone and just sending out his one video message.
Kind
No,
of,
but they can talk back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be better if it was just,
It's like the
all right,
first
what's
time
for
he tries
dinner?
to call,
And then he's
he
just
leaves
waiting.
a message.
Oh, peas? Okay, cool.
No, they're usually fighting, and Stan is not dealing with any of these issues in a healthy way at all.
Mm. He's upset that they're
dealing
having
with it
peas
was-
again.
Yeah, that's the problem. He just
Damn it.
there's
Those
too many
kids are not getting
peas.
anything nutritious.
I think the issue is that he lost his kid.
Well, that's also that's a problem.
He wasn't dealing with it good. His dealing with it was just running away, basically.
And
so
you also realize it's been 3 years.
Yes, this was not
Okay.
just like it just happened sort of thing. Not to say that obviously that's a very traumatic experience, but
Mhm.
he was
It
not
wasn't
dealing with it in a
like
healthy
it
way. In a
Just
timely
happened
manner.
and then he just went underwater.
Right.
Okay.
This was yeah. So him and Emma are clearly having their issues. Because she like at multiple points will be kind of like, yeah, like this I'm still in pain, but like I need you here with me, and you're just under the water. There's also there's like the storm of the century that's happening during all
Of course
this,
there is.
which kind of like
Guys, look at how bad the environment's gotten. We have to stop.
that never really like. I thought it was gonna be like a bigger thing in the game because it was like for 2 weeks, not 2 weeks. It was for like a few days straight that like you will watch the news thing, the news little segment you get in your kitchen on the TV, and they were always talking about the storm, and then it just kind of moved on from that.
2 bodies found in the local park.
What?
Just moves on from the weather. By the way, 2 bodies found in the local park this evening.
No, it doesn't. And then I do want to. There is just kind of like a little narrative thing. There is Joe out in the water who.
Of course, there's Joe.
Yeah, it's just a guy.
Joe, Tim,
He's
and
just
Stan,
there.
just being.
He just lives here.
No, he's a sea lion, seal. I don't really know.
Seal, I think.
Seal,
Right?
yeah.
He's
I don't
very
know
cute.
Yes, he's so cute.
I wish it was a dude. He's going up to Stan's like little underwater bubble, like banging on the window with like a mug. And he's like, "Sugar, she got sugar."
Joe actually unzips the seal suit at some point, and
Whoa!
it is just a guy named Joe that was spying on you from Unitrench.
And he's like, "It's hot in there."
Especially this far down where you can't even breathe standard oxygen, and you need a special.
He's like, dude, there's
thing.
not even a bathroom in
It's
this
a very
thing.
high-tech SEAL suit.
Except there's no bathroom, and you can't tell what time it is.
Joe is very cute, though. You see Joe on the map, pretty much. You can always see where Joe is. Joe will come to you and like bring you little plastic bottles and stuff, and Joe's cute.
Look at how bad the pollution's getting, Stan. I hate my life. I hate it.
You haven't even heard half of it yet.
Ultimately, just to kind of, there's no reason to go into spoilers really with this game. There was no like momentous story moment that I feel needs to be discussed. It's ultimately about a father dealing with grief in his own very personal story in his personal way, and then kind of questioning his sanity amongst all of it. But also uncovering kind of like a darker conspiracy with Unitrench, and they kind of like end up going hand in hand. Yes, Dave.
Is this game also end like Firewatch and is really disappointing?
I wouldn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't leave the game. The game doesn't leave you like wanting more.
Because that thing of
it really doesn't.
Dad losing his kid and having problems is kind of how Firewatch ended, and it was really boring. And then it ended even more boring when he left.
I like Firewatch.
Oh, I love Firewatch.
It was amazing up until the last 5 minutes. Last 5 minutes sucks. There's no closure.
I was bothered by the ending of Firewatch, where it's like you're gonna meet her, you guys are gonna meet up, and it's just like, no, I'm leaving.
There.
Bye.
Ah ha ha ha. Credits. Executive producer Dick Wolf. Like, come on, man.
But I love Firewatch. Firewatch is a lot better than this game. I will say.
Such a good game.
But I did overall like this game. I'll just get that out there. It has some issues, which will, especially performance-wise. Lyle, did you play on PC?
I did.
Okay. I played on PlayStation 5, so I wonder if we had some of the same issues.
We'll see. I'm very curious about one thing in particular.
Ooh. Okay.
Well,
yeah, we'll
all
get
of a
there.
sudden you were just on land.
It was the water was gone. It's crazy.
Turned into a desert.
You can go to the surface in your little submarine, which was nice, and you can watch the sunset. That was very cute.
Aww.
Yeah, that was. I when I went to the top in the sub, I was just kind of curious. I didn't think it would actually like pop up, and it was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, you actually get a trophy for it, an achievement. I don't remember what it was called.
You did.
So okay, gameplay. It's all underwater, so you were either when you were out of your sub, you're either kind of free swimming around, or when you come to kind of the more man-made areas, you can land and just walk around like
magnetic boots or something.
Yeah. But that walking around like that is very slow. And pretty much any opportunity I had to not do that, I was swimming because it was so much faster. And then there is your sub, Moon, which controls a little differently than the swimming, which, especially in the beginning, kind of made it weird switching between the two of them. How, like, R2, at least on controller, when you're swimming, like, without the sub, will make you swim up towards the surface, but R2 in the sub instead makes you move forward.
Mission accomplished.
So it's more like driving.
Yes.
Interesting.
It could especially when with vertical movement in Moon, I found that to where it would get a bit wonky. When you're trying to like go straight up or straight down, it doesn't really like that. And it will like Lyle, I don't know if you had moments where it almost like kind of start to spiral, and then it was just like you have to kind of go up at an angle.
Yeah, you do have to go at it at an angle. You can also just go up and down, but then you need to have the camera level. That works too, but then you have no idea where you're going.
Oh, is that with like the strafing thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never used that.
Okay.
You didn't use it for dodging the missiles?
There's no dodging of missiles.
When I was looking for like the caves that are in there where some collectibles are, I needed to use that because otherwise I just destroyed Moon.
Oh, I didn't even think about doing that. Whenever I got into a cave like that, I was like, all right, jumping out of Moon now, someone around.
You can destroy it? You can destroy the sub?
You can.
If
Oh,
you crash,
snap.
it doesn't like that.
It doesn't like
Didn't-
crashing?
No.
Didn't like it. Didn't like it.
You can boost either outside of the sub or in the sub, just like that. In the sub, it definitely has a boost meter that can really deplete, but you get upgrades to help with that.
Upgrades, people.
You have an oxygen meter when you are outside of the sub, but you get oxygen sticks. Yeah, which you kind of. I think what's supposed to be happening is you're like putting it into your suit somehow, but it looks like he's just like stabbing himself with oxygen.
It's like adrenaline, like
And
Pulp
then
Fiction
yes,
style.
yes, but it's just oxygen.
What
It
happens if you
looks
run out?
Amazing. You die.
I was
The-
yeah. I was assuming you just I
Oh, you just
never
die?
ran out.
It
but
doesn't like
I was
black
assuming-
out, and then you wake up in the back of a cart on your way to get your head chopped off.
Like what, Skyrim?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you run out of oxygen and under the
You
waves,
end up in Skyrim.
yeah, you just start playing Skyrim. It's great.
I know you.
You just become Connor.
So there's oxygen sticks. There's other tools like that you can craft, such as repair kits, which that is for Moon. If you crash Moon a bunch, you have like a little diagram of Moon, and it'll like start flashing on different parts of it.
I wish there was
points
more
are
of like
damaged.
a morality-based damage system where you just felt bad, where every time like you crashed or hit something in the corner it just said Moon will remember that, and it's like, oh no.
Dude, if this had been a morality system, Moon would have crashed in the first second because Stan is just so damn miserable all the time. He
Yeah,
feels bad
Stan is
throughout
not
the
good for
entire game.
morale.
No. This is not for people who want like a fun experience. This is
No.
very depressing.
It's a sad game. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was more like Abzu.
So
No.
you get repair kits, which you can just whenever you use that, it just Moon is 100% healthy again.
Oh snap, Moon will remember that.
Moon likes it when you heal it. There are mines which you can use to blast open usually just locked containers. There's glow sticks which help in the dark and also have another
Do you
use.
stab that into your body so you can see in the dark?
No, but that would be cool.
That would be sick.
Glow, yeah. That would actually be very helpful, but that's for a part of the game I don't see. I think that should just, if you're playing this game, you should just kind of see that for yourself.
Okay.
That
whole
was
thing
pretty
with the
much
glow
the
stick.
only interesting thing, so yes, we're leaving
It
that
was the most like yes.
leaving that up to you.
There is, like you said, kind of like an open map. It's not like a whole open world, it's kind of like a map segment, if you will, of the ocean that you can just kind of freely explore. You will find plenty of wrecks, like boat wrecks, like plane wrecks, helicopter wrecks, to the point where like you can kind of examine each one individually, and a lot of them, like one of them is in this cave that's like, this makes no sense, how could this be here? But even like the other like super optional ones you find, they'll be like, huh, there's kind of a lot of wrecks here, this is really weird. And it's just never like, I thought that was gonna go somewhere. I thought that was gonna be part of the narrative of like the whole Unitrench conspiracy of like what is going on here. But that was just kind of that. But at the wrecks you do find a lot of collectibles, which you like, one of them will be like an old painting or an old like sailor's wheel, like, you know, the big wooden wheel,
A ship wheel.
a ship wheel, if you will.
A colander.
What I loved so much about the painting in particular was like it was in this crate for who knows how long, and then he opens it and you find it as this perfectly beautiful
Yeah.
painting that is not at all wet.
No, not at all. All those things do come back to your base and will end up in various parts of the base as kind of like decorations. Some of them though will be like mini games, specifically two. You find a guitar, which becomes a little rhythm mini game
Ooh.
that is not
Great.
the best rhythm mini game out there. Better than WrestleQuest though. And then there's a punching bag mini game, which does the thing where it's like the bouncing arrow back and forth. You have to hit it in the spots, but it'll like keep track of a high score for you. That one I liked better just because it worked better. But they're really not anything more than just little distractions for a little. Like you do it once and then it's like, all right, that was cool. But I am kind of a sucker for like finding things like that, and then you have like a home base or a house or something like that in a game that kind of changes over time as you find that stuff. I like that. You find blueprints for upgrading either like your oxygen meter or Moon's boost thing. And as you upgrade the boost for Moon, initially the boost is like spitting out oil behind
That's
you.
bad.
Then you
That's
upgrade
bad.
the boost and it's just spitting out green.
Yeah, that's
Which is
because you upgraded from a fuel engine to a what's it called?
Engine?
To a sun-powered engine.
Right, it's solar.
It's solar,
Why
exactly.
is it green?
Because you need a visual.
It's eco-friendly, so it's green.
Is it Soylent Green?
I hope not.
I hope not.
But yes, since it is solar, to recharge that, you can just shoot up to the surface, and the sun hits Moon, boom, your boost is back.
The sun hits Moon, and you eclipse yourself?
It's crazy.
And it's being developed and published by Quantic Dream? What does it mean? Does that mean it got delayed?
It's all Unitrench.
Nothing.
You find stickers.
Anything.
Whoa!
You can equip. And I wasn't really noticing it at first, but then once you collect a bunch of stickers, you start to notice them. They go onto your like the oxygen tank on your back. And you find different music tapes, which I believe that is what you were playing with the rhythm game.
Ooh.
If I'm not to be mistaken.
Yeah, I think there were only like 3, so those were
there were only
the ones.
3, and there were 3 songs. So I think that's what's going on there.
I think that's what's going on.
I think that's what's going on there.
I played all 3, I think.
Yeah, me too. They all sounded pretty similar.
Yep.
When it comes to crafting, there are different materials you will find. You will find plastic. You will find metal. You'll find electronics, coal, algae. He does make comments way too much, like the same repeating comments as you're collecting that stuff.
My tummy hurts.
You find so much metal.
Yeah, there's a lot of metal. There's a lot of plastic. There's not enough coal.
Really?
Well, later on, you kind of have a better way of getting coal, but to get all the upgrades and everything, coal was the one that I struggled with. That was the only one I had to like specifically go out and get.
That's fair.
That's fair.
There is like this this little side activity of taking pictures of sea creatures.
Mine bugged out. I was so mad.
Like it just wasn't working?
Yeah. And then I had humpback whales float upside. They were just straight in the water. They weren't like. That was amazing. They weren't like horizontal. They were like vertical.
Like sticking out in the water, or?
No, they were just floating like this.
Oh, that's how whales sleep.
I don't think that was supposed to happen.
No,
whales do sleep vertically.
That is definitely
this is a fact that your stupid Mercury should have told you.
No, Mercury doesn't tell you fun facts like that.
I'm better.
It bugged out on me while I tried to take a photo of a humpback whale, and then all humpback whales will just.
It broke them.
That actually creeped me
posing.
Out because it was so weird.
It's picture time.
So yeah, you find a camera in your little home base, and that is when all of a sudden you get this little 3 side quests. Basically, one was like a turtle, an octopus, and something else, and then it was 3 different types of sharks, and then it was 3 different types of whales. Even with the sharks and everything, like initially I was like, oh, do I have to be careful around sharks? No, there's none of them attack you. They don't even acknowledge you. The only one that ever really acknowledges you is Joe.
I mean, that's
Joe.
kind of on par for sharks, though, because usually they really don't acknowledge you.
That's fair. I will say I did have one point where I was towards the like you know when you get towards the bottom of some places, it's just kind of like a fog. You can't actually go further because it's clearly supposed to be deep water.
Yeah.
There was one part, there's one part of the map where there's like a lot of that. There was like a giant ass squid there, like huge, like insanely big that I saw for like one quick second swimming around there. It disappeared and I never saw it again the rest of the game.
Oh snap!
So
You
I don't know.
didn't see that again? Are you sure?
Well, other than like a narrative moment.
Okay.
But like not like just out in the water like that.
I think I saw it like twice, like swimming around.
Okay, I wanted to see because it felt like the way because I pulled up my camera, I was like, oh shit, I should get a picture of this, and then it was just gone. And I never saw it again, so I wasn't sure if that was like meant to be a thing or not.
I think you can see it around.
Okay.
I think. I mean, I did, but also my humpback whale's bugged out, so.
Well, I wasn't sure if that was like I knew it was in the game because of the narrative thing, and I wasn't sure if it I wasn't supposed to see it there or something.
I think you are supposed to catch glimpses of it.
Okay.
I think so.
That's mostly it for like game. I don't think I'm really missing much there.
No.
Thank you, Dave.
I mean and you just have the straight up story sections where you have jobs to do. That's how the game progresses.
Yeah. There are daily jobs that you have a job board that every morning when you wake up, you have to have your cup of coffee. He's an absolute slob. He has just dishes piled up, just things laying all around the kitchen. He's a mess.
And then he still wants more stuff because when you go to the refrigerator, he says, "Oh, I don't know when the next drop will be."
Is it not fun, like 2017 Prey walking around the apartment, waking up?
I don't know.
Good morning, Morgan. Today is March 17th, 2132.
No, instead you can look in the mirror and look at your face and like, listen, I get this was obviously a smaller studio, but oh boy, the face is not good. It's like
that's
all uneven and like wonky.
That's what I wanted to ask you because I played on PC as we established. His face kept freaking out all the time in every cutscene. I was like, I don't know what's happening, and it's ruining every scene I see his face because it was really.
So I wasn't really having that. The lip sync.
The eyes are so stupid.
Yeah.
They're going this way.
Yeah, the lip sync was always very off. It was very just like, but not like lining up with the words. His face wasn't going that crazy for me.
It was for me. I will make a GIF or something of the footage that I have and show you in a cutscene. I was like, why is this happening?
Oh, Dave, this is not going to work well.
No, it's not. But this is just.
It's okay. I think I have it in the footage that will be here.
Oh, hello.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we have a second Dylan.
Yeah, that's I don't.
And
like
now
that.
we have a second Lile.
This is
nobody wants a second Lile. Put it away.
But the fact of the matter is that there's a mission called Free Time, and he's in the mirror going, ah, ah, ah.
Yeah.
Like,
also,
call your wife. Don't make faces in the fucking mirror.
There at one point in the game, he takes a shower
with his thing on.
Yeah, so it was supposed to be like a whole narrative, like I need a shower. This is like too much, like, and he just gets into the shower with the clothes that he always wears, with his red beanie on, in the shower and then just right into his bed. Doesn't even like just
No drying off.
no
Wet.
clothes on, red
He
beanie
loves
on.
wet.
I was also like, just go to black. Why are you just don't show it to me?
The money was well spent.
Oh yeah.
That's like clearly clearly it was small studio budget stuff, but I feel like you could have worked your way around that a bit better than they did. Also, the music, it's very like atmospheric. I had to turn that way down.
Me too. It was so loud. Yeah.
Way too loud.
Yep. Same
and then
issue.
there were definitely especially with like kind of loading stuff when you're going between things, I had frames drop a lot. And did you have any game crashing issues, Lyle?
I think twice actually, and I thought I couldn't finish the game at one section because it kept crashing on one scene, but then it just worked again. But yeah, I think twice it crashed on me.
Yes, I apparently because I was having the game crash like a pretty decent amount.
Oh god.
And first off, it like autosave was fine, but I would have to redo some stuff, and if it ever had a cutscene, I would have to. You can't skip the cutscenes, so some of them can be a little on the longer side. Already kind of frustrated from the game crashing, having to redo a little bit, and then having to go through a cutscene. One of which, without going into spoilers, was probably the saddest moment of the game. If you know what I'm talking about, Lyle.
I guess that depends. I don't know if your saddest thing and my saddest thing are the same. I would imagine so.
I believe so.
Okay. That broke my fucking heart.
So, yes, it was that, and that happened, that whole scene. It was very sad.
I actually think that's the same exact scene where it crashed for me too, because I remember seeing that twice as well.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
it
it's
did
just
kind of
that
take
scene.
away from the moment a bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Apparently it has something. So when you start the game, and this could be wrong because it was just from like Reddit and what people were saying, so this might not be true. But when you start the game, you pick your save file that you want to do, and it will determine like what logo you have.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently the save file you choose, if you choose like one of them or two, whichever save file you choose crashes more.
Oh,
people were saying like,
sucks.
Started the game over on a different save file and had no crashing issues.
Ah, okay.
Interesting.
Which do you remember which one? I chose the third slot, the last one. Okay. Ultimately, there is the conclusions happen. It doesn't feel it doesn't feel open-ended, really, in any way. There is definitely some like mystery to the whole kind of situation, but it definitely felt like closure.
Yeah, I just thought the ending sequence was, as I said, that was too pretentious for me.
It definitely, yes, it gets there for sure. It gets there. I think for the most part, they did a good job of kind of like building a unitrench mystery conspiracy, while also kind of dealing with his grief, his personal issues. That's where it kind of will lose it a bit towards the end. I don't necessarily think I would change the conclusions it kind of came to, or even like the choice, but I would probably change the way it all happened at the end.
Yeah, I would change the presentation, and I would make it a bit. I know some people just like to work with metaphors a lot. I don't think it added what they thought it would add, I think, in my opinion at least. And I usually like pretentious, but yeah, there's even a line for me.
I think they tried to maybe do a little too much with it all.
Yeah.
Is what ended up happening.
You definitely can see that there was work and money put into especially that aspect, the whole Pearl
Yeah.
nightmare and that conclusion. There was a lot of effort put there, and I think maybe some of it should have gone a bit more into gameplay instead.
I will say some of those nightmare sequences, because you are just walking and not swimming, there were times where, because you walk pretty slow, there was especially one of them where I was really unsure where I was supposed to be going. So I was just kind of walking back and forth, like, where am I supposed to? And then you had to go like into a bus.
In the bus, I was about to say,
Yes,
was it
it
the
was- it
bus
was-
scene? Because I
yes.
did the same.
I was like, my supposed was like, is there a way into the house? Like, is there, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Overall, I mostly enjoyed this game. I'm gonna give it a 7. I felt it was good. It wasn't good enough to kind of jump up to be one of those really memorable games like this. I think there was potential for that, but
Yeah,
it
I think so
didn't
too.
quite get there.
No, for me either. I think my score would be much lower, actually.
2 out of 10.
No, I think I would maybe like a 4.5 or 5 out of 10 for
Wow.
me.
So if we averaged it,
I think 5 is an average game. So I
your
put
scale, I've definitely noticed, is like
yeah.
it's a little
So
differently than
Yeah.
so a 5 is average for me. It's a average game. So I would say that's where I would put it. Maybe a little bit.
There's been
lower
a
than
general
that.
talk, and especially when it comes to IGN too, but I feel like there's a general talk of how Americans look at video game scores, and specifically average games are 7s. And then it just kind of gets shittier from there or amazing from there.
Yeah, but I mean, then the 1 to 5 score doesn't make any sense. Then you will never have. You might have 1s, but you will never have a 2 or 3. You know what I mean?
We've had a couple.
True.
Gollum is
Gollum.
a fucking
Disaster.
should be a -10.
But there's also, I feel like and for me specifically, there's not many games that like you guys know the new King Kong game that just came out.
No.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was like a thing until like everyone was posting how like bad it is.
Like that, if I were to buy it and play it, yeah, that would probably be like a 2. But like, not many games that I go for or end up getting to cover are or turn out to be shitty like that.
I think scoring
That is true.
Weird. It's
Because it's like I'll say right now, I'm not gonna give Assassin's Creed a 5 or anything below it.
bold statement.
Yeah, I didn't expect you to be completely honest. But yeah, I mean you're right, because you do choose which games you're playing. So
yeah.
and usually if you really don't like it, so if you like it so little, then you probably just stop playing it.
And I feel like a lot of it comes to not only that, but like your thought process going into it. Because I feel like for me specifically, how I score a game is how well it accomplishes what it set out to do. So if a game set out to do specifically this and be themselves, did it do that? Yeah. And then you kind of work with the points on a smaller scale. If there's bad graphics, if the game crashes, here's this, here's that. And if they're much more drastic, then you work on a larger scale.
Yep.
But as long
as that's not how I judge games.
Yeah. But I think
that
there's still worthiness to it. Like it's like, oh, is this a completely narrative game? Yes. Did it set out to tell a good story? Yes. Did it run like shit? Yes. It's a 5, but it's a really good game.
I think the scoring aspect is very. It's personal for each person and how like everyone will score. I think too much focus is put on a score.
Yeah.
Which is why I think that like. Which I also
that's
get,
why you
and
put
we
it in
are
front
guilty.
of a name, so you have someone to yell at.
We are like, even where with social media, like I do that for us all the time, like a score, like the it's good for like the quick little like social media posts, but I think that's also why I like the way we review games, where we'll do like a whole deep dive like this, because I think it is way more about what we said about the game
Mm-hmm.
than the score, because at the end of the day, the score part is it's a very personal bias thing for each person, because Lyle and I could be talking about Under the Waves and what we liked and disliked, and maybe the things that we were not happy with. Maybe there are people out there that loved the whole ending sequence and were
Mm-hmm.
all about that, thought
Yeah.
this was cool. So like, scores are weird. I think they probably got out of hand at some point, and it feels like it's all about scores now.
I mean,
Yeah.
in the gaming industry, they've been out of hand forever because they
Yeah.
are so. In
You get your
it's such
bonuses
a
based off of them.
yeah, exactly. People and companies pay your ads. You don't have an independent ad revenue, so of course you're scoring them higher than they probably should
Right.
be. Yeah, that's take from that what you will. So
Yeah, it's a whole weird thing, and that's
yeah.
it is always, you shouldn't just play a game based off a score you see. I think you should actually look into what's being said about the game and your own personal
Preferences.
enjoyment. And
I love walking simulators, and there are so many people who just do not like them. So if I judge a walking simulator, of course that's going to be higher than someone who just doesn't like the genre.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think it's important too to like kind of what you said, Dave, like look more at the person themselves that is reviewing it.
Yeah.
Because if you find a few people that like, oh, I generally know that their tasting games aligns with mine, if this person is really enjoying this game, high likelihood I would enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
If you go to IGN and you find an article on Animal Crossing, go to the person who wrote the article, and if they wrote a bunch of stuff about Animal Crossing and they have really bad taste, just know they don't know what they're talking about. And then you can go to a different website. It's as simple as that. But it's not the website's fault. It's just they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to Animal Crossing.
This feels like a very specific thing that I don't really know.
A very
what happened
personal
here.
thing too.
Yeah. Yeah. Who hurt you, Dave?
I don't want to talk about it.
All right, then this
He wants to go under the waves now.
You gonna go work for Unitrench?
No, I do have a good IGN joke coming up for the Spider-Man episode.
Okay, well it will be. You could be. All right, you go under the waves and you just take Stan's place, but you're Dave. So does that make you Dave the Diver?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. That was a terrible transition. By the way, that was absolutely garbage. Almost as bad as the development of the game that you were just talking about. Now let's talk about some good games that have been hopefully developed well in some notable game releases. And that's how it's done.
Wow.
The
shade.
Owie.
The shade.
Oh, for anyone who is already listening to this, there are a few games that have already come out due to the mishap schedule that has been going on, but there are games that have come out that we still want to talk about and games that are coming out. But to begin, Endless Dungeon came out recently on October 19th, 2023 on PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. It just looks like a cute little fun, dungeon crawler roguelike, top-down Diablo, just cute, cartoony, just fun. And it just looks like, I don't know, I've been much more into the just falling back into roguelikes as like a thing to play mindlessly, and that there's just been more of a focus for me again.
All right, Forgive Me Father 2 has entered early access on PC on the 19th of October. I think this is an FPS, right?
Yeah, so
with
it's Doom-like,
Cthulhu,
like, in a way.
Cthulhu visuals, but
it's got a real
comic-y.
sick visual. Like that's the standout from it, but it looks really awesome.
Yeah, it makes me puke as well. Super Mario Brothers Wonder came out on October 20th on the Switch, which I think that we will probably have an episode on in a few weeks. That looks like it's trippy Mario. It's Mario on acid. It is Mario, not Charles Martinet Mario.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
What did Super Mario Odyssey release October 20th, 2017?
We can find that out. I wouldn't be able to tell you that. Super Mario Odyssey came out
Or was it the
Aw.
23rd? Or the 27th? Or was it? Was it?
27th.
It was the 27th. Okay.
Yeah, you're weird with remembering. I don't know how you could just pull that out.
That was the same day that Wolfenstein, the new Colossus released, because I went out for the midnight, and it was also the same day that Assassin's Creed Origins released. Yeah.
If you say so.
Sorry.
I believe it.
So the same day the Super Mario came out, Spider-Man 2 came out, another game that we'll have an episode of coming out in the upcoming weeks. That came out October 20th, a couple days ago. I'm already playing it now. PS5. That's it.
That's it. And then we have The Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria. That came out when you hear this episode on October 24th, 2023 for PS5 and PC. I have no idea what this game is.
Is this a card game?
No, it's not a card game. This is
Is this a mobile game?
No. It's one of those games where you're like
You're just the dwarves.
You're just the dwarves. You do a run in the mines, gather resources, go back,
Roguelike.
build up your base, back in the mines.
Oh, is this
doesn't
like
appeal
Deep
to me
Rock
at
Galactic, but with...
I don't. It's not. It doesn't look that good.
Okay.
It doesn't appeal to me at all.
Oh no,
A
you're the
cool
Lord of the
thing-
Rings guy.
From what I understand, is that the actor that plays Gimli in the movies voice acts Gimli in the game.
Ooh,
Which,
they
well-
spent some money.
One of you does the next one. I just want to confirm that. So
All right, then 2 days later, my boy Dave the Diver comes out on October 26, 2023 on Switch. This is such a cute looking little game. You spend the part of the day just being a scuba diver, fishing, collecting treasures and whatnot, and at night you run a sushi restaurant.
I completely missed this, and now I'm just watching people play it. Watch like Let's Plays of it.
It looks adorable.
It is adorable. Very Korean, I think.
I like the idea. I want to do it, and because it's me.
All right, then we have on October 26th, we have Ghost Runner 2 for PS5, the Xbox Series, and PC.
I
have not
am so
played the first one.
excited. The first one is so good. Dylan played it too. I want to play the second one so bad. I remember playing the demo on PC, and then I played the whole game on console. And then it was good.
Dylan is still.
yes, it is confirmed. The actor that played Gimli in the
God
movies.
Damn, did that take too long?
Is yes, he's back. Where are we? Ghost Runner 2, Alan Wake 2. Is that where we're at?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alan Wake 2 coming out on October 27th on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC.
Starting up the Halloween releases, we have the Forest Cathedral on Halloween coming to the PS5. If it is already out on PC, this looks like a fun, trippy little adventure game, narrative game, crazy little what the hell's going on game. I want it.
What
I
kind
like
of
it.
game?
A little cuckoo, a little bit a weehee, a little bit haha. You know, when you have 2 Fiber One brownies,
Something's happening right now.
you go a little goo goo. You know.
We also have Toussaint coming out on October 31st. It's not really a Halloween game. It's a climbing game for PS5, the Xbox Series, and PC.
Then to close it off, November 1st, This Bed We Made.
The bed making simulator.
Yes, for PS5, Xbox One, and PC. I don't know what this game is.
It's like a narrative detective game where you play a maid in a hotel. And she apparently just likes going through people's things.
Oh,
And
okay.
What
you
a
can,
bitch.
you can find out all the stories that have... I think it's centered around the murder in one of the rooms, but you can also like find other people's stuff. I thought it looked neat.
What a bitch.
Dave would love that. He's a hotel aficionado.
I love hotels. Put me in a hotel, I'm happy.
Why?
Because
Yep.
they're just so nice. They're so good.
Are
They're
they
comfy.
though?
Well, when you go to a good one, Lyle. I don't know about you. I go to 3 and 4-star hotels, and they're cozy. They're nice. They have pools. Sometimes I get hurt. Sometimes, but I have a good
Hotels
time.
get hurt?
Well, sometimes when you're at the pool, you might nick like your toe, and like as
So
you're trying
you
to get
get
into the
hurt.
pool. Well, yeah, I get hurt sometimes. I get hurt all the time.
You said they get hurt, like the hotels.
No, I get hurt at the hotels.
Oh, okay. And that's why you like them.
I love hotels so much. But come back next week to hear us talk about the notable game release, RoboCop Rogue City.
You just couldn't wait.
I
Couldn't wait
can't.
one more week.
I want it now. Give it yum. Terminator Resistance was so good. This I can't wait for. November 2nd, 2023.
All right. Well, he double dipped. We'll talk about that one next week too.
Yeah. And I'll talk about it at some point. I want it.
Thank you.
Dead or
Dave.
alive, you're coming with me.
Thank you, Lyle.
Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Dave.
Okay.
I mean, what
Thank
else
you,
did I
listeners and watchers.
expect?
If you liked Dylan, if you liked Lyle, if you liked Dave, be sure to like this episode as well.
Wow.
Go down wherever you're listening, whether it be Spotify, Apple, Podcasts, Google, Amazon Podcast. Leave us a rating, leave us a comment. We might shout it out on here. And especially when it comes to any little video games that we're playing, please let us know what your little opinions are. But on that note, close the curtains. Good night. Have sweet dreams. No nightmares.